Hi, welcome to Kingdom Death Monster Simulator version 0.1.189, which there should be another patch coming soon. But anyways, this is going to be Lantern Year 1 settlement phase. I think we left it off with just one character surviving. And I went through the door again. That was funny. All right, this time we'll be on the right side of the door. Okay, so last time we left it, 3 characters died during the prologue, 1 survived. Naming characters for this set, I'm going to use names from Greek and Roman mythology, I think. As in, why not? I haven't done that for a while. In which case, shouldn't really do this, but I'm going to change Urza's name to kind of match the theme a little bit. And we're going to go with Nyx, Goddess of the Night. Since she survived the Dark Night. Okay. Oops. Doesn't have that bleed token anymore. All right. Since this is the first turn of the settlement phase, we'll have the returning survivors settlement event. We'll go through everything. But because we're doing the Gorm as replacement for the White Line, we'll have the approaching storm event will go into timeline 1. All right, so first day. So we collect our rewards. Players lost their survivors in first story. They can create new survivors in the settlement. The pair of survivors' gear and resource are not lost. They are returned to the settlement with the remaining survivors. Turn this page to create your settlement. All right. I'm going to try to do a setup, settlement phase, confirm. We found resources. Do not mess with those, please. And it gave us 4 automatics, which that's not going to apply. The reason being is you get 1 per return, but we'll go through it as we come up on it. All right, so setup. Place the settlement board in the play area along with the gear grids, the survivor records sheet of the survivors that persevered through the first story. These are now the returning survivors. Use a double-sided settlement record sheet to record information about your settlement. Survivors return. Notice below the settlement's name that the returning survivors gain +1 survival when the settlement is named. Award it to any returning survivors. All right, so let's name this. Our settlement name will be Land of the Doomed because I'm running it. So when the settlement is named for the first time, returning survivors get +1 survival. Our survivor limit is 1. She spent her survival, so she has none. So Nyx is now up to 1 survival. These guys are dead, so they don't matter. All right. Awarded to any returning survivor. Survivors cannot have more survival than survivor limit of on the record sheets. We're at 1, so she went from 0 to 1. Returning survivors heal any existing light and heavy injuries. Yeah. These I have a lot of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So those are all healed. Her blindness is not healed. That is considered a permanent injury, though. Returning survivors heal any existing light and heavy injuries by erasing any filled-in boxes on the record sheet. Permanent injuries are not healed. Add the name of the returning survivors to the population list on the record sheet. So this is where the names actually matter. And on the back here, so Nyx is the returning survivor. She is female, and she is blind. Population is currently going to be 1. That'll change here shortly. Okay, gain endeavors. Endeavors are the creative energy accumulated from experience. Each returning survivor generates 1 endeavor. Use the endeavor tokens to track excuse me, your endeavors. Any unspent endeavors are lost at the end of each settlement phase. 1. Update the timeline. The extinguishing of a single lantern in the lantern horde happens regularly. This is how the survivors track time. It's called a lantern year. Update the lantern year on the settlement record sheet now by checking off the first lantern year on the timeline. So we're now officially in lantern year 1. What we did before is lantern year 0. Prologue fight stuff. Okay. So we did that settlement event. Find the first day settlement event card and place it in the play area. Actually, I think it's all in here. First day. I'm also going to grab Gorm Climate because I'm going to need it. All right, first day. The first day settlement event will help set up your settlement. It is the first event of any new campaign. The survivors wander, drawn to a booming light in the distance. They find the serene comfort of a towering pile of lanterns and a small collection of scared people. On a deep instinctual level, they know this area is safe and they make it their home. Roll a d10 to determine your starting population and record the results on the back of the settlement record sheet. Choose and record genders for any unnamed survivors. You may name any unnamed survivors, create a survivor record sheet at any time during the settlement phase. All right, so 1 die. We got 2. 6 unnamed survivors. All right, so I'm just going to fill these in. We will go ahead and name them now. Actually, let me do something I'm going to need to do anyways. So let's pick up this. This is how we record everything into the cloud. So um, since it's the end of the month, we may have well, it's not actually the end of the month. We didn't have an August update. Normally we have updates at the end of the month. They may just be pushing it all back until Black Friday, but we'll find out. I'm also going to need the manual for the Gorm. All right. 1, 2. So I'm just grabbing the character sheets. We will fill these out now. Gonna make 3 males and 3 female characters. Let's see. Make Calliope, female, 1 survival. So she is of the beautiful voice for poetry. Did I check the female box off on her? I hope I did. Persephone. Our wonderful bringer of destruction, or the winter. And we'll fill in some of the more common names. Go ahead and do Athena of Wisdom. Apollo of the Sun. Atlas to hold up our world. He's going to die fast. And who else? Debating if I want to use Zeus or if I want to use somebody else. You know what? I'm going to use Orion. I haven't used that name in a while. Okay. So I shouldn't actually need, if I do this right, settlement successfully uploaded to the cloud. Skinkland can be deleted. We will retrieve this one. Why do I have 2? All right, a little bit of fun. One of these is the real one for the cloud. All right, that's the cloud one. And that's got the cloud symbol too. Yeah, we'll just send it to inventory so I don't have to see it. Okay, so now if I pick these up, They should be automatically loaded up. And they should get added to, oh, I don't need the die, to the cloud. And they should fill in automatically here, which they did. All right, awesome. Okay. So let's go back over here to the first day. Return the settlement section of the first story and proceed to returning survivors. The first day settlement event card will not be used again during this campaign. Do not include it in your settlement event. So you are archived. All right. So now we have the returning survivors. Best part is doing a settlement phase for the first time for Gambler's Chest. All right, first words. Nominate a survivor to utter the first words. The nominated survivor steps forward, gains +1 courage. Why? Stone Cloud. Refresh. Okay. No, Nick's did not get refreshed. All right, fine. We'll just get it out of the cloud. There we go. All right. So I'm going to nominate Nyx for all this stuff because she already has her wonderful -1 accuracy on everything. Okay, so she gets a point of courage. So the nominated survivor steps forward, gains +1 courage. They lead the other survivors in learning to speak to one another. They discuss the situation, realize that they must hunt to live, add the white lion quarry to the quarry list on the settlement record sheet. Your settlement gains the language innovation. Search the innovation cards for language and place it face up in your player area and record it on your settlement sheet. Language is your first innovation. It will spark the creation of innovations from now on. All right. Innovations. Oh, actually, it already did this for me. Cool. So survival limit is now +1. All survivors gain the encourage survival action. Encourage once per round. If standing, spend 1 survival to call out to a non-deaf survivor. They stand up if knocked down. See the detailed rules. Add language consequences. That's here now. All right, so population is no longer 1. We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me update that. Language is marked off here. White lion has been updated there. Survival limit is now 2. All right, build the innovation deck. The innovation deck consists of 6, so it's ammonia, drums, hovel, inner lantern, paint, and symposium. Those are already over there. Shuffle the 6 and place it on there. So these have already been placed here. We'll look at it real quick just to make sure, since we're going to shuffle it anyways, it's not that big a deal. So pick it up. Ammonia, Symposium, Inner Lantern, Drum, Hobble, and Paint are all there. Let's pick it up, put it back. Shuffle once, shuffle twice, shuffle 3 times, not gonna matter. All right, shuffle the 6 cards. The innovation deck is persistent. Make sure to preserve the unique combination of the cards in your deck between play sessions. Finish with the work. The settlement gathers around the glowing center. The glowing center, armed with languages, the nominated survivor aptly names the glowing center of their home, the Lantern Horde. Settlement gains the Lantern Horde settlement location. Search the large settlement location cards for their Lantern Horde and place it face up in your play area. The Lantern Horde is the source of all the innovations and further locations the settlement would develop. Nominated survivor sits in front of the Lantern Horde in awe and gains +1 understanding. Must skip the next hunt phase to ponder the meaning of existence. Check that off. And they gain +1 understanding. Return to the first story to complete the settlement phase. All right. Oops. So we've triggered that. Returning survivors, give the survivor language innovation. We built that up. We added Lantern Horde. Turn 2, follow the returns, and return here to complete the settlement phase. Update the death count. If any survivors perished in the first story, update the death count on the settlement record sheet by filling 1 unfilled box for each lost survivor. All right, so we lost 3 of them. So death count, 1, oops, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and because we filled that in, we'll now get principle of death, but we'll handle that in a moment. Okay. Check milestones. The first time the death count is updated on the settlement record sheet, it triggers a milestone story event. Principle of death. The group will pick a principle and face its outcomes. Once you complete the story event, get the corresponding principle card and place it on the board. All right. Oops. Let's go to contents. And we got principle death. Principle of death. We can choose what to do with the first survivor corpse. Choose one. Either we make the first grave or the first harvest. So either we practice cannibalism or we practice graves. So the problem here is we had so many characters die, I need endeavors. So we're going to have to go with the first grave. So the first grave, settlement decides to build a small monument to mark their loss. Settlement gains the death principle graves. Find and place the card on the settlement board and note it on the settlement record sheet. After adding the card to the settlement, roll a d10. 1. Settlement gathers around the grave, each taking a moment to reflect on the loss and their place in darkness. All departing survivors will gain +1 survival and +1 understanding. All right. So I put the deck up. No, I put it over here. This is the Lantern Horde card that we were talking about earlier. What happened to the innovation? Ah, here it is. Okay, so even though it's a principal, the innovation deck is, or the principles are in here. Do, do, do. Records, protect the young, pottery. Graves, death principle. All new survivors gain +1 understanding. When a survivor dies during the hunt or showdown, gain 2. So we need to go back to here. Say we got a first time death. And for death, we went with Graves. All right, so for the first death triggered that event. The second and third death, we actually follow what happened here. So when a survivor dies for the second and third time, so we get 2 endeavors for each of those. So we get 4 endeavors. There should be 3 more over here already. So like I said, my understanding is the first one triggers this, and then the second and third one would apply to it. So we don't get 6 endeavors. If you're currently working your way through the first story, returns of settlement section, proceed to development steps. All right. Oh, no. I thought maybe since I saw New Life had that, I thought maybe Death would have it, but it didn't. All right. So we did check the milestone off. During this step, the survivors spend their endeavors whenever a is indicated to build, innovate, craft gear, and join activities. When settlement starts out, they can spend their endeavors at the Lantern Horde to build new settlement locations. When an endeavor is spent, reduce the total number of endeavors by 1. If you spend 3 endeavors to build the Bonesmith, Organ Grinder, and Skinnery locations, if there are fewer than 3 endeavors to start, choose which locations to build. Get these large locations cards from the box and place them below the settlement board where indicated. If the settlement has a remaining endeavor, the players can choose how to spend it. If they build an organ grinder, they may participate in augury by spending 1 endeavor and follow the principal rules if this causes the new birth, principal new life. They may also spend their remaining endeavors and 3 resources, 1 of each bone, organ, hide, to innovate at the Lantern Horn. If they do that, draw the top 2 cards, choose 1 innovation to add, and then we can go to craft gear, get everything prepped. Oh, actually, darn it, slight mistake. After returning survivors, the approaching storm happens. That's weird. Okay. So the approaching storm. Settlement weathers takes a turn for the worse. This is added because the Gorm is now our level 1. It's been added to the event. If you always love how if you push E, it moves 1 space forward. I need to stop trying to use it to go in that direction. So as a new campaign, to add the Gorm to a new campaign, add the approaching storm to the settlement record sheet during Lantern Year 1 on the timeline. Trigger this event after the returning survivors event. Okay, so a light appears on the horizon. From its origin, rolling masses of storm clouds approach the settlement, soaking everything into perpetual sheets of stale-smelling rain. Sudden flash floods and burning winds and periods of strobing lights continuously plague the settlement, leaving the survivors in epileptic fits. Why do I keep trying to say feats? You may now hunt the Gorm. Add it to the quarry list of your settlement record sheet. Add the Gorm climate to the next lantern year on the timeline. Nominate a survivor. They gain +1 insanity and have to brave the storm. Okay. So Nyx will be my storm braver. Why? Because I don't care if she has an accident. All right, roll a d10. We get a 4. The survivor stands in the torrent. Pulsing psychedelic lights strike them, bringing them to their knees. In a flash of mortal inspiration, the survivor takes a stone to their own. Oh, gosh. They suffer the blind, severe head injury and gain a permanent +1 speed. So they are now really, really blind. They gain 1 speed, so they can whiff even faster. And then they suffer the severe injury blind. Guess what? Okay, fine. Go to severe injuries. The second blind, I think, changes blind. They suffer 9, -1. Injuries permanent, can be recorded twice. Survivor with 2 blind, -4 permanent accuracy. And retires at the end of the next showdown or settlement phase, having lost all sight. Oh, well. All right, so they're now at -4, and they're going to retire. So, doesn't matter. Goodbye, Nyx. It was nice knowing you. All right, that was all that happened. So they will be essentially out of the game at the end of this. Man, it's been a while since I've had somebody retire. That's glossary. I forgot what actually happens when they retire. Pretty much they just can't go out anymore, but I don't know if there's anything. When the final hunt XP is filled, the survivor retires. Some disorders and sphere can force retirement. Retired survivors cannot depart, but still contribute to the total population of settlement and may participate in settlement events and endeavors. Okay. So they're there, they just can't go out anymore. No big deal. All right, so I can now spend my endeavors. I saw somebody had put in a thing to allow customizable go-to locations in the manual, kind of like the bookmarks. I think that would be very handy. All right, so we're now at the development phase. We have these resources. I'm going to spend the 3 endeavors to build the Skinnery. organ grinder, and bonesmith. So since we built those, we now check off here. So reason we're checking them off is instead of having them just sitting there is this way when we go to have it do the settlement automatic, it'll fill all this in for us. These will now appear in this settlement location. Just moving this out of the way for now. Actually, I won't archive that just yet. Okay, so Gorm Climate is the event that's going to happen next turn. This gets added at the end of this. Young Rivals is added because we've added another new monster. Gorm can be fought. Okay. So I got 2 endeavors left. I'm going to go ahead and innovate. So to innovate, I need an organ, which I got to lose the love juice for. I'd like to keep it, but probably a mistake. And then I'm just going to use this great cat bone. So pick 2 of them up, and we got to take one of them. Ammonia and drums. I'm going to take ammonia so we can do leather working. You can sometimes get them ammonia for free if you're hunting the white lion, but we're not going to be hunting the white lion. So view tech, we got to get the ammonia consequences. Oh, you know what? I should have taken the drums so I had a chance to get the Song of the Brave so I could get rid of the Gorm Climate. Oh well, I went this way. I'm not going to go back. All right, ammonia. Ammonia. All right, and we'll shuffle these up just for my own. And then here, so ammonia is really important to get for allows path to bloodletting, and also ammonia will allow us to make leather. Departing survivors will all gain +1 survival, so that's good too. All right. Since we have ammonia, we can now make rawhide whips. Not that that's super, super important. All right, so we need to make some weapons and armor for people. I have 3 bones, so I can only make 3 bone items. Let's grab the gear. So we can look at what we can make. I'm not going to pull out the organ grinder ones because you can see how many organs we have left. None. All right, so we'll start off looking at skinnery just because rawhide whip 371. When you wound with that, you get the priority token. All right, so the problem is the Gorm has some dense locations, so these frail spaces can break. So it can break your weapons. I have 2 achievements, or 2 spaces left, so I could also get stone noses. Which stone noses will give survival and insanity. So they're kind of nice to have. Okay, I could make 1 bone club, but that's going to use all of my bones because I only have 3 bones. Hide. It's just a single hide. I thought there was one that like broke up into 2 hides. And maybe it's the main. All right, we can't make the axe because we only have the 1 organ and we used that already. So we can make dagger, blade, and darts, which for the sickle and pickaxe we need special stuff. They are frail also. All right, so the dagger is not frail. So I think I'm going to make a dagger, a blade, and we will make a dart. Just to get some differences in the equipment. We will still have the founding stones that didn't get thrown, so we have 3 founding stones still. All right, so that's going to use up all the bones that we have. Everyone will get to keep the rawhide pants. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one character have like an almost a complete set. Try to get a rawhide set. With this here, one character will have 1 point in 3 locations and an invasion, and I'll try to make them the target for everything. Problem is the Gorm wretches, which means it's almost meaningless to have the armor anyways, but we'll try it. We'll see how things go. All right, and that's going to use these up. All right, so I don't have anything extra, but I'm putting all this gear on here just because I'm going to now use the pen to write it. Okay. Paste. It is open. So just take a moment to get all the bookkeeping done. All right, and we'll move that off. Okay, so let's get, actually, flip back over. I should have 3 founding stones, 4 cloths, 1 each of those. Yep, looks like everything is recorded. So let's go ahead and equip everybody. So just getting character stuff set up for departing survivors. So we've developed everything, we've crafted gear, now we're preparing survivors. So I need to pick the 4 survivors that are going to go out. You can be archived. I do have you marked as having, yeah. And then, sorry, just need to go to table of contents, principle of death. So all departing survivors get +1 survival and +1 understanding when they leave. These can be scrapped now. Hopefully that's not scrapping those miniatures. We'll get the miniatures. This doesn't actually matter. I need the character sheets. So it doesn't really matter who I send out. I'm just going to grab the top 2 of each one. So we'll grab Orion, Atlas, Athena, and Persephone. And then we'll assign them. Okay, and since they're departing, they get +1 survival and +1 understanding. Departing survivors also get 1 survival because of ammonia, but that's not going to matter because they're going to go to 2, and that's just going to top them out. So doesn't matter in this case. We just go to 2 and 1 understanding. And 2 and 1 understanding. And 2 and 1 understanding. All right. So for armor, Persephone is going to have 1 in her head, body, arms, and waist. She also, if you notice on the rawhide set, it has these markers here. So if we match what's on here, we'll get +1 evasion. So we got the red here matched, got the blue here matched, so she'll get an evasion. This is kind of like a token because as soon as she loses that armor, that evasion goes away. All right, so 1 head, 1 arm, 1 body, and 1 waist. I will get a evasion token and just stick it on the side. Oh, I still have 2 endeavors left. For these endeavors, I'm just going to make stone noses because I've used all my actually, we'll roll for augury. Nyx is going to do the augury. So first die on the augury is a 6. Augury 6, gain a survival. So Nyx has another survival. I'll update her sheet. The other one is a 3, lose a resource. I don't have any resources anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I do need to increase this to 2, not that it matters. There we go. All right. So that takes care of all these endeavors. I should have made the noses. Oh well, no big deal. My dice rolling is just really bad. Okay. So she's taken care of. One on the waist. One armor on the waist. And one armor on the waist. That takes care of all of the survival stuff. We can archive this now. All right, so this has all been taken care of. Bone, skinnery, organs. We can fight the Gorm. We have Graves, language, ammonia. Looks like I set everything up right. So the next thing we will do, oops, doesn't get done there. We'll go here. We'll set up for a hunt phase with Gorm, level 1. Confirm. And everybody's set up. So we should be good to go. All right. We'll stop it here. We'll do the hunt phase next time. Thank you very much for joining me. And please like and subscribe. And we'll get going.